Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning from me and from Stewie as well. It is Thursday. The transfer window isn't officially open, although everyone else seems to be making moves. Are Spurs falling behind in the transfer market already? It feels like clubs seem to be plotting and scheming, and we're seeing lots of talks from Fabrizio Romano and Ornstein as to players that are moving. Sorry, this one's just desperately trying to get onto camera. And at the moment, no manager, no director of football. But fear not, because a Spurs player this year has won a trophy. Well done to Brian Hill. Brian Hill joins a long line of players that left Tottenham Hotspur to go and win trophies and won trophies off the top of my head. And good morning, everyone, I should say. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everybody is well. Off the top of my head, let's have a look. By the way, get some questions in. This is the show where you put questions in, I ask them, and then we all have a good old chat together. Get your questions in. If anyone wants to do a super chat, 50% does go to the British Heart Foundation. Come on in. Come on. Oh, what an idiot. And 50% does go to the British Heart Foundation, and the rest, well, the rest goes to me. So please, if you would like to put a super chat in, please do. If not, just put Q and then your question in the chat. Where do we start? A long line of players, a long list of illustrious players that have left Tottenham Hotspur to go and win trophies. It started with the Teddy Sheringhams of this world. Teddy. It started with him. Then it moved on to players like Carrick and Berbatov and Modric and Bale and Carl Walker. Vertonghen and Alderweireld left to win trophies. Carl Walker went to Man City. Ndombele has gone to Napoli and won a league. Kevin Prince Boateng left Spurs and won trophies. Timu Tiano left Spurs and won trophies. Judas Campbell left Spurs and won trophies. Brian Hill, Eric Lamela from last night, they left Spurs and won trophies. Joe Hart left Spurs to win trophies. Cameron Carter-Vickers left Spurs to win trophies. Juan Foyth. Someone else I'm pretty sure was from the Spurs team in that Villarreal team that won. Maybe Etienne Capoue. Yeah, what a shambles. So get any questions in. And look, we'll go through them as we can. I can't obviously get to every question, but hey, it's all good fun, right? So, and please remember, before I start the show, come on, this stupid little pug. All right. Sorry. Sorry, he doesn't like it when I stream. He gets lonely, so he has to come and sit on my lap. So before I start the stream officially, please subscribe if you haven't already. That would be much appreciated. And please remember that tomorrow we have got the 24-hour live charity stream starting at 12:30. So that means in 26 hours from now, I'm going to have no sleep for 24 hours. That will be fun. Where are we? Brian Hill coming back with a Europa League, more trophies than Kane. And that is the shame. And that is why when anyone thinks that the goal scoring record is more important than winning trophies, it's crazy. Big up to yourself. I'm sure you'll be cussing me within seconds. I see your comments all the time. Don't you worry. Big up, Mr. Alan Sibley, one of the most generous people I know. Thank you, Alan. Hope you are well, my friend. Brian Maguire's in the house. Yes, it is this Friday. It's tomorrow, mate. It's tomorrow. And I actually got a nice message from the British Heart Foundation today wishing me luck and asking me for a conversation next week. So that's quite nice. Someone said, Prashanth has said, conservative and pragmatic FC. Yeah, a crazy Europa League final. A lot of fouls and shithousery. And what would you expect? You've got Eric Lamela on one side. You've got Jose in the dugout on the other side. It was always going to be that way. Good morning to Rico. What the hell is this? I don't know what you mean. What the hell is what? What the hell is anything, Brian? Who knows? Unfortunately, you will see an Arsenal badge pop up because that had all 20 Premier League clubs. And hopefully you noticed that Luton have now been added, Sheffield United have been added, and Burnley have been added, and the other three have been dropped out. Where are we? Sevilla, respect to them. 7 times Europa League champions. 7 times. They're the Real Madrid. As Henry Wright said to me last night, they're the Real Madrid of the Europa League. What a club. What a club. Imagine Tottenham were run as well as Seville. Just saying. And this is why the whole finishing top 4 argument versus winning trophies. I think Sevilla have won it, 5, 6 times in the last decade. I'd swap that in a heartbeat for all of these pointless top 4 finishes. How about you? Gil was subbed off at halftime, proving what a crap buy was. I don't think that proved what a crap buy was. The guy's now a winner. The guy's now won more than Son and Kane. Let that sink in. Where are we? Big up, my man. Big up, my man. Strasbourg Steve. Briar. Rooney with a shin. Listen, that's going to be changing before the beginning of the season. I'm going to pick 4 new goals. I'll have a vote for that, actually, so people can have their say. Are you okay today? You're being nice. That's 2 nice things you've said in a row. I'm confused. I'm waiting for the hammering. Peter Snodgrass has said Mourinho brought it on himself. I wanted him to win, but I don't feel bad for him. We'll talk about that a bit later. Don't worry. Once we get into the rant, Scott Kemp, we get into a rant. I do not hold back. I had someone message me this morning on YouTube saying, "Oh, Savva, you're always negative and it's draining." And I turned around and I said, am I negative or do I tell the truth and you just don't like it? Because when I ask for positives about this club, I don't seem to get many. No, the logo is a French bulldog, by the way. That's a French bulldog. That's my other dog. He doesn't need as much attention. He just goes and does his own thing in the garden and downstairs. So, big up to you as well. Hope you're well. Let's see if there's any questions at the moment. Absolutely, Steve. It was a really hectic Europa League final. Felt like it went on forever. First question from PJ. Do you think that was the penalty? Are you referring to the Seville penalty that wasn't given? That wasn't given. Is that the penalty you're referring to, the one that was overturned? Let me know and I'll answer. I thought Suso was excellent when he came on last night. Absolutely. This is what happens when you leave your club and go to another club to try and win things. Eric Lamela as well. Yeah, Eric Lamela, big old Eric with his Rabonas. He's won a European trophy now. C to the 4th. Big up, my man. Hope you are well. I'm just assuming you're a man. That's very sexist. Big up to you. Please smash the like button. Only 30 people have, and there's 175 in here already. Have you been in the mud today, or am I saving it for later? You know what? C to the 4th, I'm going to be arrogant and say one day I will be in the mud. Unfortunately, everything I've said about Spurs for the last 2 decades has come true. We're an absolute shambles. The owners are what I said they'd be. There's no trophies like I said there'd be. There's no plan like I said there'd be. And still fans call me negative. Hey, if you're deluded, you're deluded. But big up to you. Who have we got? Winter Surfer, big up. A channel member has said, smash the like buttons, people, and subscribe. Please do subscribe. It really does help me grow, as you can imagine. Where are we? Let's get some questions in, people. Get some questions in. Can we have Stewie dressed as Batman? I don't think he'd sit still long enough for that to happen. Here's a good question. Here's a couple of good questions. I'm just going to star some questions at the moment, but here we go. Garage Classics, big up my man, has said, Savva, which club do you admire the most? Which club do I admire? I mean, you'd have to say at the moment, you've got to admire what Brighton have done. From where they've come from, you've got to admire Brentford. Luton Town are the obvious choice. Going from the non-league to the Premier League in 9 years is absolutely fantastic. It shows what can happen when you have a plan and you implement it correctly and you execute it correctly. They could give our owners a lesson in how to run a football club. So, I think there's a few teams there. If we're looking abroad, I really admire what the likes of Villarreal and Sevilla do. Smaller teams than Atletico, Real and Barca, and they're always in the conversation for trophies. So fair play to them. Yes, even Nkudu went and won a trophy. It's embarrassing, isn't it? PB and Jam saying Aurier was with Villa. No, didn't Aurier go and win I can't remember if he was at Villarreal when they won the trophy or not. I might have been making that up, but Juan Foyth was, Capoue was. Garage Classics said, give me 5 realistic signings you want Spurs to make this summer. So I'm going to caveat this and say this all depends on the manager and the director of football and the formation we play. For me, I'd love somebody like an Anderson or a Guehi or a Tomori. I don't know if they'd come, but I'd love those. I'd love one of those three centre halves. Someone like a Tapsoba. I'd really like. Who would I like? Who would I like? I don't even know at the moment. I just want to see who the manager is and what formation they play before I start reeling off positions that might not be necessary. I'd love Maddison, but I just don't think we've got any chance. If we do get him, absolute fantastic signing. Be the best bit of business we've done for over a decade. Who else? Who else would I like to see? I can't even think. I mean, Serge Milenkovic-Savic, I just don't think we're big enough to get him. Let me have a think. I'll come back to you on that. And Ndombele going to Napoli. Yeah, absolutely. And winning trophies. Absolutely. Soldado probably won trophies. I think everyone wins trophies. So, hey, it's really, really sad times, isn't it? Yeah, Montiel scored the winning penalty in both the World Cup final and the Europa League final. Yeah, I mean, what a season that man's had, eh? Some people just have great years, and this guy's done it. I like him, good player. Argentina clearly like him. Seville clearly like him. It's the sort of player we never sign. We seem to go for all these erratic fullback type players that can't defend, but we don't go for these solid type of players that have got that winning spirit, that die-hard attitude. Let's have a look. Although you can't doubt Jose being one of the greats, last night showed what I hate about his football. It's so boring to watch, and when you don't win a trophy, you have nothing to get excited about. I think that depends on who he's managing. He wasn't boring at Real Madrid. His Chelsea team wasn't boring either. So I do think that's a real sweeping generalisation, Stuart. I think you have to play to the players you've got, right? And the players he's got there aren't, I don't think there's many players that play nice, smooth, free-flowing football. Not saying Jose does, but his Chelsea team and Real Madrid team broke records for goal scoring, so they couldn't have been that bad, could they? Of course, David's upset about something. He said, as for Mourinho throwing his runners up middle into the crowd, he's a disgrace. His disrespect for the competition tells you everything about that man. His disrespect for the competition. Hasn't he won it a few times, got to a final, and couldn't you say he was giving his runners up medal to someone in the crowd? It's two ways to look at everything, my friend. Ian Walker, I don't know what he's saying, but Ian Walker, what a goalkeeper. Where is he? Stuart has said, with rumours of Gallardo, would you rather him over Ange? I think he would excite me more. I wouldn't, because the whole thing being thrown at Ange Postecoglou is that he's never managed in a big league. He's never managed in a Premiership, right? Gallardo's only ever managed in Argentina and can't speak English. For me, that's a real worry if you're bringing in someone that's going to clear out the deadwood and start building something. Surely you need someone that can speak English, right? And knows European football at least. Surely, don't you? I don't know. There are lots of other questions, by the way. I am just starring them, so bear with me as we do that. I'm trying to get through as many as possible. Yeah, this was crazy. 13 bookings. That extra time, no one wanted to win it, did they? It was literally just shithousery the whole way through. Bear with me 1 second. Bear with me. Okay, let's have a look. Here we go. Why do you do the charity streams based on the British Heart Foundation? Unfortunately, I lost both my parents to a while back now, but I lost both my parents to heart conditions. So it's something that means something to me. So there's more emphasis and more oomph for me to do it for that charity. I'm not saying other charities don't deserve recognition, but hey, it is what it is. Robin Ater said, Savva, what's your aim with this YouTube channel? Is it a side activity or do you plan to go big with it? I think it's the same as anything, right? I don't know. To go big with it, to do it full time, you need a lot of subscribers to make enough revenue to support yourself. So look, we'll see. Maybe in a year or so, we'll see. Never say never. Never say never. But I'm just not sure at the moment. Listen, I'm just enjoying it. I've got a couple of months off, so I'm just going to hit it hard and we'll see where we go. And then if people want it to be full time, we can get there. But I need more subs. Need more subs to get more revenue. And unfortunately, that's not greed. That's having to pay a mortgage and live my life. So we'll see. Let's have a look. Simon has said, I was on another channel. Is Levy's first choice? Mason is the board's choice. I just really hope that Mason isn't anyone's choice. Really, really hope that. PB and Jam said there was a handball in Seville's box and Anthony Taylor did not even look at the screen, but instead handed a yellow card to one of Jose's staff. Yeah, there was some really bad. I'll be honest, it was a difficult game for Anthony Taylor, but I do think he got a lot of decisions wrong. How we go? Ayush, yeah, I mean, you love Gill, Brian Hill. Listen, it's one of those. I mean, I don't mind the Spurs signing a player like Brian Hill if we've got a philosophy implemented that allows him to play in his position. But I feel like it was just a buy for buying sake. I don't know where he fit in at Spurs. I don't know what he was meant to do. Divi, Henry would be working. So Henry's always welcome on. He knows when I'm streaming. We talk every day, but he is working. So he won't be coming on. Big up from Vietnam. Big up to you as well. Hope all is well over there. Hope all is good. Sorry, I am starring a lot of questions. So if you think I'm just ignoring your chat, I'm not. I'm starring them and then I can go back to them. Otherwise, there'll be so many. If I'll get caught behind. Let's have a look. There's a lot of questions. There's so many questions. All right, calm down on the questions for the moment. There is a lot of questions. Yes, yeah, it goes to show, doesn't it, what happens when you hire a top manager who can get the best out of players, and you get a bit of belief and energy and urgency into the club. I get the feeling that being at Spurs at the moment, forget who the manager is, it just feels like it's not a nice place to be. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. Alderweireld, yeah, he won a trophy since he left. Let me get some questions. I'm gonna skip. If I miss your comments, I do apologize. But there are loads and loads of questions. Well, there's so many. Windsurfer said, Savva, that final last night, look and see how many bookings the coaching staff got. Yeah, it was crazy. It really was crazy. Hang on. Let's have a look. Somebody's saying something. Mourinho won us our last European trophy in 2017. He doesn't disrespect Europa. He just doesn't do loser medals. Hey, there's that way of looking at it, right? This man keeps winning trophies and people keep trying to find ways to knock him. I do feel like the world hates a winner. The world hates a winner. Let's have a look. Okay, let's get to some questions because there's just so many. This is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't realize how many there was going to be. Big up to you from South Africa as well, Delian. Big up. Right. Let's have a look. Okay, what we got. Wow, there are loads of questions. Garage Classics, I'm not going to ask questions about Bob Spur. I'm not going to do it. It's not my style. I'm not going to do it. Where are we? We've answered that. Here we go. Perchy's in the house. Big up to Perchy, the one and only, the real deal. I said, after Sevilla winning the 7th Europa League, why do English clubs constantly disrespect that tournament? Perchy, it's this English bias. Everyone in England thinks that every other team outside of England can't play football. Every team is terrible. None of the players are any good. I'm not saying all English fans, but so many English fans find ways to discredit it. And Perchy, I was having a conversation yesterday with someone who was telling me that Spurs were a better run club and bigger than Seville. And I thought to myself, how can we say this? They've won 7 European trophies. Like, that is mental. That is absolutely mental. And it's not like they won them in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. They've won like 6 in the last decade or 11 years or something. It's madness, Perch. It's madness, I tell you. Melvin, big up, has said, hey, Savva, I'm writing an article on Spurs. I'm writing an article on Spurs' reliance on Kane this season. If you're interested, is there any way I could send it to you to read? Absolutely, there is, Melvin. If you go onto my YouTube page, in my bio, there is a email address where you can get through to me. It's not my personal email address. It's my YouTube channel email address. So if anyone sends any hate, or I can just delete it and don't really care. So please go on there, have a look, and you'll be able to send me an email. Feel free to do that. Steve has said, considering the leagues he's managed in, do you think Ange will be good in the Premiership? I don't see why not. I feel like we talk about the Premiership as though it's some holy grail. De Zerbi had never managed here before. Pochettino, once upon a time, had never managed here before. Gary O'Neill had never managed at all before and has come in to keep Bournemouth up. I don't know why we think, why would Gary O'Neill be able to do a really good job at Bournemouth, but Postecoglou, with all his years' experience as a manager, wouldn't be able to? Is it still 11 men running around on a pitch? Yes. Is it still one football? Yes. It's still training. I don't understand why people think that will be. I don't understand why people think this great big thing that no one can manage in the Premier League. Strasbourg Steve has said, which Sevilla and Roma players in particular impressed you the most? Are we talking about last night? Because over the season, let me give it to you over the season, because I don't think last night was the greatest game to judge it on. For Sevilla, I like Montiel. Campos for me is an interesting player. He's interesting. Roma, I really like Pellegrini. I think he's a good player that should move on. I like Mancini and Ibanez, however we say it. There's always a smart ass in the chat who will tell me that I'm saying it wrong. I even look at someone like Chris Smalling, and I look at the state of our back 5-4, and I think you'd be good in our defence. Yep, I said it. So yeah, there's a few. I'll come to some more questions in a minute. There's just too many. I need people to stop with the questions at the moment. Let's have a look. Oh, there's so many questions. Jimmy Hendricks, let's go with this. Why many Spurs fans disagree with the Ange Postecoglou appointment? I think a lot of fans, I think they're disappointed because, one, I don't think they've probably done their homework on Ange Postecoglou. Two, he's coming from Scotland, and there's this feeling that if you've come from Scotland, you must be terrible. And idiots, I will say it, idiots just throw well, look what Gerrard did. That was Gerrard's first job. Postecoglou's been a manager across the world for about 20 years. So there's a huge difference. There's so many comments. Big up to all of you. Christopher, I think clubs do as well. I'll be honest with you, mate. I think a lot of clubs do. When I see them putting out watered down sides. So I said, would you take Emma Hayes from Chelsea to manage the men's team? Do you know what? I tell you what, she's got more passion than lots of the managers I've seen recently. Look, I think Emma Hayes is a really good manager. I don't feel the world is ready for should a female manage in the Premier League. Yeah, I don't feel it's ready for that conversation. One day I think it will happen. Emma Hayes is a terrific coach with a great CV. Fair play to her. Thank you. See, with drums, I try and talk sense. I try. I just think people like the sensationalism of football conversation. Sean Godwin has said, if we get the Celtic manager, what name should we sign realistically to fit his player style who are Premier League proven? Oh, wow. Where to start? Look, from what I've seen from his Celtic team, he likes players with good energy and good engines. So I'm not going to sit here and rattle off loads of names, but I would like to see that ilk of player come into the club. I want to see some legs in this team. It's all too static. Our fans seem to really like plodders. We really seem to like plodders like Perisic and Skip and Højbjerg and Kulu. It's all too slow for me. Absolutely. Arteta, never managed in the league before. Now look at the reviews he's getting. So I think we need to I think we need to take a stock of where we are. I feel we shouldn't be judging people so quickly. And one thing I said on Henry's channel yesterday is when people keep saying to me he'll be a failure in the Premier League, the question I would ask is this: what would we be measuring him against? What success would we be managing Ange against? Because for me, we're years away from winning. We're years away from competing. Whichever manager comes in has got a lot to sort out over the next couple of years. So what would fans be judging him on? I feel they'd be judging him on unrealistic expectations because our fans, I'll be honest, half our fan base is so deluded, it's unreal. Absolutely. This is what I mean. It doesn't, just because you've managed in the Premier League doesn't mean you're great. Reports from the Build saying that we are being linked with young Serbian striker Sukan Midic. I'll be honest, I've not seen him play. I can't sit here and say I've seen him play if I'm really, really honest. What I do know is I don't know how we're being linked with players when we don't know who the manager or director of football is. I feel like that's really weird. But yeah, I've not seen him play. Mark, big up, mate. Hope you're well. Said, how long do you think it'll be until Ange out is trending? I've seen it already. I've seen say no to Ange, and I am embarrassed at times about our fan base. I truly, truly am embarrassed. I feel like a lot of people they've not done their homework on this guy. This guy's a good, solid manager. He looks like a really good guy as well, like a proper football guy, and I really think that's what we need. We don't need a hipster. We don't need the name that's trending. Why can't Postecoglou do the job? Agreed. Sevilla never will never win La Liga, so they focus on Europe. I think Spurs should do the same. Forget about top four. I agree. I agree. This is the problem. Our fans, though, top four, top four, top four, top four, top four. Give me a Europa League win every year over top four. Every year, because Europa League will get you into Champions League anyway. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Yeah, listen. Do you know what, Steve? When I watch Smalling, for me, he just does the basics well, and he's one of those, again, not a sexy name, Steve. It's not sexy, is it? You know, it's not sexy like Hincapi. You know, people say, I want Hincapi. I want Vardia. This guy just does his job. I'm not necessarily saying him, but do you know what I mean? He's a solid centre-back, and I think that's what we need. Sorry, I'm just trying to get through all the comments. There are so many. Can we calm off the questions for the moment, please, guys? There are just so many that they'll all get lost in translation. Sorry, Savva, that's a made-up name. Read it slowly. Which one? I don't know which one. Sorry if I missed something. I feel like I've missed something. Savva, have you seen the Mason Mount news yesterday? United have agreed terms. Everyone is making moves while Tottenham don't even have a manager. Yeah, I don't believe that terms have been agreed until my man Romano or Ornstein say it has. By the way, Danny Elmo has signed an extended contract with RB Leipzig, so he's not moving anywhere this year, which is a shame. He's a very talented footballer. Everton will not sign Connor Cody on a permanent deal. Would people look at Connor Cody? Hey, would they? Kovacic is going to Manchester City. There's so much going on, and we haven't got a manager or director of football to get this stuff into order. That shows you where we are as a club. Terrible, terrible times. Let's get some more questions, shall we? I'll give my opinion on this. Depending on the fee, I don't know what everyone sees in this guy. I think he's a hard worker. I think he's a good squad player. I'm not sold completely on him as a footballer. I think he's okay. I think if he wasn't English, I don't know if he'd get this much hype. Would you be happy to play Alfie Devine and not sign Maddison if our budget was spent on the defence? I think Alfie Devine should be getting minutes next year. Do I want him as our starting attacking midfielder? No, I don't think he'd be ready for that. But I definitely think we should see him getting some minutes. But hey, yeah, I saw the England under-20s got knocked out last night, right, to Italy. So, hey, it is what it is. Winter Surfer, big up for you, Super Chat. Oh, okay, right, I see. Grow up then, whoever that was, just grow up. That's pathetic. Come on, what are we? I didn't get baited. People are just idiots. If you want to be children, go and watch other silly channels. If you want to watch children. Winter Surfer, big up. He's put, watch out for these names, several players. Read it slowly as they're usually there to catch you out. The German striker name was a fake. Yeah, listen, fair enough. Idiots will be idiots. And unfortunately, the internet has given a platform for these people to thrive. Please smash the likes. There's only 69 likes. And we've got 204 people in here. Thank you. Love you too. So let's have a look. Strasbourg Stevens says, Smalling and Lewis Dunk. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Those two lads, Mancini too, are just good professional centre-backs who do their jobs. Do you know what, Steve? It feels like those type of players aren't wanted by fans. Those type of players we frown upon, the same way that people frown upon Potter and Rodgers and Postecoglou. The Spurs fan base have got a real delusions of grandeur as to what we are. They really, really have. And for me, I think we need to wake up, realize who we are, By the way, I've got loads of questions stored, so we'll get to them. Hakuna Matata has said, what's your thoughts on Kulusevski's poor season? 2 Premier League goals. Would you be determined to still keep him? I wouldn't be determined to still keep him. I've gone on record and said, if we get him, we get him. If we don't, I'm not bothered. I think there's a lot of hype that's going on with this guy. Spurs fans did what they always do. They saw 10, 15 good games and then decided this player was the next big thing. For me, I think he's got a lot to prove if he does stay. I've not been impressed for a long time with this guy, if I'm honest. And you have to ask, do you want a lot of our transfer budget to go on signing Kulusevski? Let's have a look at some questions. There's some more questions here. Name a more one-footed football than Lamella. Yeah, you'd be hard pressed to find that, wouldn't you? He really is very left-footed, isn't he? I'm not sure. Let me think about that. Will Spurs be relegated when Kane leaves? I don't think we'll be relegated. As much as I think it's a mess down there, I don't think we'll be relegated. I think there's more to Tottenham than the relegation. Sean Egan has said, what does a successful season look like for us next year? Making a cup final. Sean, I'll be honest, mate, I'm not even thinking about finals. I'm not thinking about trophies. I'm not thinking about qualifying for Europe. Success for me next year is purely a manager coming in, getting some time to remove the deadwood, start to build a team over that year. Yeah, start to build a team and take it from there. I think at the moment, where we're talking about trophies, I think we're miles off it. Just my opinion. Foggy Foamer said, how do you feel about Ange Savva? Do you think fans will give him time, knowing very well he was down the list? I would take him. He's not my first choice, but I think he's a solid manager, a good professional manager. He talks about the game well, seems to have a really good grasp of world football. I don't see the hate. I just feel there's a lot of idiots who don't understand football and don't understand Spurs. Ali A has said, Savva thoughts on Man U on Manu Kone. Yeah, I like. I just saw Romano talking about him, if I'm not wrong. Where am I? Hang on, let me just have a look. Yeah, Liverpool have apparently inquired about Manu Kone for 35 to 40 million euros. I'm just reading Fabrizio Romano's Twitter page there. So, yeah, I like him. The fact that Liverpool are in for him tells you everything you need to know, and that Spurs won't get him. Daryl has said, question, you say Levy never shy on money when buying managers, so why do you question fans if they mention Amorim or other managers if we have to buy them out their clubs? Because there's a difference if you're going to go and pay 30 million to get a serial winning manager out of a club, or 20 million, whatever it is, versus Ruben Amorim. Why would we pay 20 million for Ruben Amorim? What's he done that suggests 20 million buyout? Listen, I don't mind Amorim if he came to Spurs, sure, but 20 million to buy him out, I'm not sure why. What's the need for that? I don't think he's this world-class manager that we need to go and get. But what I question with fans is them thinking we're bigger than we are. It's all right, Daryl, for fans to say that we're this great big club and we should set our expectations high. That's being inside looking out. Now be outside and look in. I don't think other managers and players see us the way our own fans do. And I'm just being sensible about that. Simon Mel said, Mason should have learned from Poch, Jose and Conte. Is there a future star manager in him? He lacks charisma. Simon, I find him painfully boring to listen to. I don't see any energy in him. I don't see any passion. I look at managers and think, if that man walked into the changing room, would he give me belief? You look at Klopp, you look at Pep, you look at Jose, yeah? You look at these types of managers, they look passionate. They look like they could go into that dressing room and either praise, big up, scold. Mason, for me, needs to go down to League Two, learn to be a manager, manage at the grassroots, just for me. I'll come back to some more questions in a minute, just so I don't get so far behind on the comments. Let's have a look. Where are we? Where are we? Make Trump president again. What an account that is. Has said Graham Potter will be perfect for Spurs. Good football, medium budget, no transfers, project manager. This is where Spurs are. What you said there. Project manager, no tantrums. That's what the kind of thing we need. Having a Conte in the dugout throwing a tantrum every week, while it's good to call the owners out, I don't believe that can be good for anyone, for morale or for the team performance. Hey, that's just me. Furkan has said, "What's one content creator you respect, or if you had the opportunity, who would you love? Who would you love to work with?" I mean, look, I respect all content creators because I know how much work goes into it. I know it's a bit of a wishy-washy answer, but just because I might not agree with content creators or they don't agree with me, I think everyone respects the time that other people put into it. It's a lot of money. We put our own money into it. We put our own time into it. We have to get thumbnails made. You have to find someone to do that. You have to set up the show, take your time away from your loved ones. We do that whilst working. So, but who would I like to work with? I'm lucky. I've worked with a lot of good people that I like to work with. I really, really have. I work with really good people like Dan Potts from AFC. I work with all the Spurs community. I don't think there's anyone in the Spurs community I don't or haven't worked with. I haven't. Last word on Spurs: keep themselves to themselves. I haven't worked with them. I haven't worked with Expressions. He does his own thing. Fair play, and he's made a great success of it. But there's a few people I'd like to work with, but I don't think I'm gonna name names on stream. Nikki Williams, thank you. I said, great work, Savva. Keep up the good work. We'll be watching some of the charity show. What time does it start? 12 p.m. tomorrow. As soon as that hits the afternoon, we are going live. One-footed player. Yeah, Ryan Giggs was very one-footed as well. Ian Robin was very one-footed. David says, success is staying in the Premier League. Look, I think this question would be better answered, guys and girls, after at the end of the window as to where we want to be. I think that would be better. Let's see the manager is, director of football is, and the players we bring in. Mount United, as I said, good squad player. Kovacic to City is a no-brainer for Kovacic. A very good footballer. It'll be like a new lease of life for him. Pep doesn't often get it wrong, does he, with his transfers? So it's bolstering the squad. Fair play to him. Let's go back to some questions. Bill Blissy has said, who would you like advising the board moving forward? Not necessarily direct football, as in someone like Stephen Perryman. Big up Steve Perryman, by the way. Great guy. Messages me every now and then, by the way. He's a really, really good guy, and he has WhatsApp chats with you and stuff about Spurs. It's absolutely brilliant. And if anyone doesn't know Steve Perryman, is hang your head in shame. Anyone who doesn't can't really be a Spurs fan. That's all I'm going to say. Who would I like? I would like the likes of Hoddle and Redknapp advising. Proper football people, if I'm honest. I want proper football people doing it. Not all these hipsters. I want proper football people doing it. I'm just getting to more questions. There are so many questions. I agree with you. Potter, not just Potter, but I do think Spurs need to put their pride away. I think a lot of fans are in for a shock. I think a lot of fans do not understand the mess we're in. And what they will do is whoever the manager is that comes in, they will judge this manager against top four in European places because our fans, the penny needs to drop. I think a lot of people have accepted it. In the chat, let me know who has accepted that Spurs are an absolute mess and that next year it's not about Europe or winning. It's about starting to try and build something. Who would agree with that? Or is anyone hanging on for European football? Yeah, Tapping Tobes is my boy. I was speaking to Tobes last night, actually. He's a really good guy. We talk all the time. Watch out. That man's coming with a lot more streaming over the summer. And he's one of the best Spurs content creators out there, is Tobes. Very level-headed. Doesn't get too emotional. And this is the problem with having a dog that's white. You just get hairs all over yourself. Big up Tobes. One of my favourites. Always been there to support and help me. So love Toby. Where are we? I agree with this, David. What I love about you, David, is we only agree on about 50% of things, but I like it when we do agree, and I like it when we don't. Potter is more than qualified to coach Spurs, but the ownership and fans think our club is on Park Lane. Bang. And until the ownership and the fans realise that, I don't think things can change. When we say Spurs is run by results, what do you mean by that, Daryl? I don't know what you mean. Where are we? Breaking news, Spurs set to appoint Ange. I think that was yesterday. I can't see that it's going to be breaking news this week because he's got a cup final to play on Saturday, right? And I can't see it being named before then. Literally, I'll tell you what I do for all my breaking news. I've got Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein's Twitter pages up. As they break news, that's where I start believing. Not all of it, but some of it you can tell. Lewis says, Savva, you have 3 streams of the same thing but different times. Yes, the reason for that is this. So you're talking about the 24-hour live charity stream. If your stream goes over 8 hours, then you can't play it back. So people will be sorry. So for example, when I first did the live charity stream, I did a 24-hour continuous stream. And what happens is it only allows the first 8 hours to be aired when people are watching back. So what I do is I split it into 3. So I do the 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. slot. I do the 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. slot, the 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. slot, and then the 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. slot. So it's done by design. Absolutely. Would everyone be so kind to wait 1 second while I get the dog bed for Stewie? Hopefully that was just 1 second. Sorry, he was clawing at me because he wants his bed. Where are we? Did you see Kane rejected by him right now? I've not seen anything of the sorts. Where did you see this? I haven't seen a bid from Bayern. I can't believe that if they haven't bid that he can reject them. Call me old school, but surely there needs to be a bid in place before he can reject them. Everybody, big up to you all. There are 235 of you in the chat. Only 89 likes. Smash that like button. Please subscribe if you haven't. We're nearly at 5,500, which is amazing. We've done nearly 1,000 subs in the last 5 weeks. So please keep smashing that like, keep smashing the subscribe button. And please remember that at 4 o'clock today, there'll be the transfer update show. And there's a lot going on in the world of transfers at the moment. And if you want to, at 3 o'clock, I'll be joining a Chelsea YouTube channel to talk to them about what they can expect from Mauricio Pochettino. Is Heung-min Son top 3 finishers you've seen in the Premier League since 2015? Not for me, personally, but he's a very good finisher on his day. That's his skill set. That's what Spurs need to do to get the best out of Son, is put him on the shoulder and play him through. Him playing deep, not his game. He's not a build-up guy. He's not a guy that can get on the ball and make things happen like Kane can. Get him in the positions where he's good, and we'll see the best of him again. So let's hope we can get a fully fit, firing Son next season. I'm sure he'll still be here. I'm sure he won't leave. We've got some more questions here. As a Liverpool fan, Spurs are a mess. Focus on creating a squad. This is it. Our fans don't get that. It's not all our fans, but it's tedious. A lot of fans don't get it. Danny's accepted it. My pug supports Fulham. I don't know. My pug does. I don't know. My pug does not care. Chris Cowlin. I've messaged Chris Cowlin a couple of times to do some work. People like Chris Cowlin do not respond to the likes of me. You have to be in their little inner circle. I've got nothing against Chris. I do feel that there's not enough honesty from those shows. If I'm going to be completely honest, I feel that the need, I'll say it right now. And if Chris is hearing this, I'll say this to his face. I feel that the need to be on Sky Sports outweighs the need to be honest. A lot of those people that go on Sky Sports and represent Spurs, no one goes in and gives a scathing assessment of where we actually are. They just skirt around the edges because they don't want their privileges revoked from Tottenham. And I'm just calling it as it is. Each to their own. But imagine me on Sky Sports talking about Tottenham. Can you imagine the viewers' shock at what I would say? Bless him, Mark. He doesn't look very happy at any time. He's got one of them little squashed up ugly faces, isn't he? Bless him. Yeah, he's more intrigued because I've got a banana in pieces cut up next to me. That's what he's trying to get to, Liam. He's trying to eat some food. I've got tonsil. Dude, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. What do you mean? I don't know. Gargle some salty water or something. I don't know. I don't know any doctors in the house. Beyond 72 has said, I'm usually deluded, but I'm scared we could be fighting start next season. Looking at how many goals we conceded this season, and then you look at the lack of fight in the side. Well, beyond 72, I think what we've got to wait to see is when the manager comes in, what are the first 3 or 4 signings? What do we do? What are we going to address? Surely it's got to be the back 4. And I really hope it's a back 4, not a back 5. Please be a back 4, not a back 5. So we've really got to see that. We've really got to see that. So, Alan, big up, Mr. Alan Sibley in the house, said we just need to build next season. We are not in the trophy competing conversation. Anyone who thinks we are is 100% deluded. No, my pug would be too much like Romero. He'd just follow the ball and he'd get done for tackles all the time. Yeah, no, we can't. Savva, thoughts on brown envelopes pushing out Mason? Dude, Minerals, for a year now, I've seen you talk about brown envelopes. I have no idea what you waffle on about. I'm a 40-year-old man. I'm not going to talk about brown envelopes. I don't know what it means. It doesn't make any sense. Ask me a question in proper English, not about brown envelopes. Let's get some more questions. Let's get some questions. Smash the like button, people. Have we got over 100 likes yet? We have 102 likes. Please subscribe. 3 people have just subscribed. Any more people, please subscribe. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. The man, the myth, the legend. Kuva, WhatsApp me if you would like to come on. Always enjoy streaming with you, and you're the sexiest man with the sexiest beard on YouTube. Big love to Kuva. Let's have there's so many questions. I don't know where to begin. Daryl, big up. I like Daryl. Daryl is absolutely a real one. Said Levy will be in a quick fix to get back to top 4 ASAP. Don't see him with patience for rebuild. Daryl, he might want a quick fix to get back to top 4. A quick fix isn't going to get us back to top 4. There are a lot of good clubs now. There are a lot of clubs that have overtaken us that will continue to strengthen. I truly believe that the days of a quick fix are over. That's just my opinion. All of this Kane has rejected Bayern. I've not seen this anywhere. I don't know what this is all on about. I think if Kane had rejected Bayern or Bayern had made a bid, there would be reports from everyone. And I've got alerts set up from Romano, Ornstein, Sky Sports. Let me just chuck Kuva the link. Let's give Kuva the link. I love Kuva. If anyone doesn't love Kuva, they don't know anything. He's a lovely guy. I reckon I want to be as good looking as Kuva when I get to his age. When I get to 60 like Kuva, I want to be as good looking as him. He's not 60, by the way. Big up, Danny. Danny, you want to come on? Let me know, brother. Send me a WhatsApp if you want to come on. We can just talk Spurs for hours and hours and hours. Listen, I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying Chris Cowland's a sellout. But I'd love to do a show with Chris and have some hard-hitting, honest questions. But these people, they just stream within their own community. I'll go on with anyone. I'll go on with my worst enemy. I'll go on with anyone. But I feel that people like Chris Cowland, they wouldn't let me on. They wouldn't let people like Stell on. You know what I mean? People like me and Stell will tell the hard-hitting truth. These people won't let us on. It is what it is. And if it's all about making money, then it's up to them, but I think you've got to be honest. And are you going to be nice today, Ant? You're normally not very nice to me, are you? Honestly, where do you think we would finish this season? I don't know. Let's get through the summer. Let's see what manager we get, what director of football we get, what players we sign. Let's at least see where we are at the end of the summer, and then we can make a judgment. Shem Tan, big up Shem, said, I honestly want Potter to come and fix this mess. Why is it taking so long? I don't know. I just don't know what's going on, whether it's Potter or the only thing I've said all the time, the whole way through, and I don't know if I'm right. I could be very, very wrong. I could be very, very wrong. The only thing I said is if it was a manager like Postecoglou we were waiting for all along, then you've got to wait for that manager's season to finish before you can hire them. And if that's the case, then he's still in a cup final this Saturday. What will be baffling is if in a couple of weeks or next week we announce Potter or Rodgers when they're not in jobs and they could be in situ right now. So look, let's let this play out. There's loads of questions, by the way. I haven't ignored them. I've starred every single one of them so far. There's 26 I've starred. Kuva, big up. That's very kind of you. Kuva, Tottenham. I hate Tottenham. They've destroyed my man Kuva, the most positive man in the world that starts every season by saying the quad is on. And now he said the quad isn't on. Let's have a moment of silence for the quad not being on. Sad times, no bet. Lee, I get it. I get it, but I just don't understand how this saying gets used in every football conversation. It's just ridiculous. Like, they haven't got the minerals, bottling, brown envelopes. It's like, I don't talk like that about football in the pub with my mates. We talk football. We don't talk in all these catchphrases. There he is.
Big up, mate. How's it going?
The man, the myth, the legend, the man I want to look like in 20 years' time.
I don't. I wouldn't want to look like this in 20 years still.
Kuva, welcome to the Rant show. This is literally where you get questions and we just go through them, and it's great fun. And,
I love these sort of ones. It's great interacting with other fans. It's what it's all about, isn't it?
Surely, I think that's where I've put my show going towards more these days. Is, you know, I'm not a fan. I watch some YouTube channels and they don't really bring up comments and stuff. And I think, well, you're just letting everyone in the chat have their own chat. But hey, listen, let's get to. But before we do get to some questions, the question is, Kuva. I mean, like that question just now, somebody said about Potter. But if we take Potter and just fill that in with Potter or Rodgers or whoever's not in a job, the only way I can see that this is that one of those isn't in play is that we're waiting for a manager that still has skin in the game, so to speak. I.e., if it is Postecoglou, he's got a cup final this weekend. But if we get 2 weeks down the line from now, Kuva, and then hire someone that's been out of work for a while, I mean, that will be just gross incompetence in every letter of the word, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, if you've already got your sights set on somebody, get them in as soon as possible. They need as much time as they possibly can to prepare for next season.
Yeah.
So he's got to get familiar with the staff, the players, the facilities, everything about the club. Should be living and breathing it by now. It's the only way. So you'd have to hope that the next manager is somebody that's still interested in, has an interest in what's going on this season. There's very few of those left at the moment. Champions League finalist. I don't think we're going to be getting one of these this season. So what is there? What would be the hold up otherwise? There could be a case for saying players go on summer holidays, they come back, and then everybody comes in at the same time. Start from scratch there. But if I was the manager, I would want to be in there immediately. Like I said, you even just getting used to your own office, start feeling at home before the season starts and all the work starts on the training pitch. Big up, mate. Big up, Paddy. It is incompetence. We're always on leaving things too late. We do it in transfers. We do it in managerial appointments. We're always going to miss the bus, aren't we?
Yeah.
Even if we park the bus, we'll have missed that as well.
And the worrying thing is, Kuva, is, I do a transfer show every day at the moment, and all I do for that is I literally bring up Ornstein and Romano's Twitter pages to the information they've released, and then we talk about it. And the number of conversations that are happening between clubs right now, and the number of players that have been approached, Mason Mount, Kovacic, Brighton have signed 3 players already. Aston Villa have made a bid for, sorry, a bit of banana, I'm on a diet. Aston Villa have made a bid for Asensio. We don't even have a manager and director of football. We are so late to these conversations if we join them at any point. It's embarrassing right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, always go back to the example of Brighton, how well run that club is, how beautifully run it is. They can go without a manager for a short time. Supposing we got a De Zerbi off them, if by some miracle he'd want to come here, which he obviously isn't going to want to. What would Brighton do? They know who the next managerial appointments are going to be, the sort of players, the people they're looking for. Meanwhile, they are set up for a way of football. They know what it is. It's right the way through the club. Everybody knows what it's about, how to play, the passing, the constant moving the ball around, comfortable on the ball. They can go out and sign players regardless of who's coming in, even if they're without a manager. With us, we have to wait and see who it is, then work out if we've got a director of football capable of getting players in to fit that manager. It's just shambolic all the time. We're complete. It might as well just put things in a blender. It just, one of those like speed whizzes and then just take out whatever random elements you get out of it. Brighton have purpose at all times. There's a vision. There's a way of playing. It runs through everything about the club. Beautiful to watch, and they're going to continue it. What did they do? I think they've already made a great signing that from Watford. What's his name?
João Pedro.
João Pedro, yeah. Looks an exciting young player.
And Cooper, they wouldn't have done that on a whim. Right?
Absolutely.
They wouldn't have just gone, oh, hi, João Pedro's available. Oh, all right, we'll have him. They've signed him. They've signed Milner and Dahoud, which I believe is probably going to be for experience of Europe because it's their first time in Europe. They just get it right.
They do.
Now, they're not going to win titles. They're not that club. They're not going to win titles. But for where they've come from to where they are now, I'd love to see where were Brighton. I don't know if anyone in the chat can find this out quickly. Where were Brighton the day that Spurs were taken over by Daniel Levy? Because it's like I said the other day, Kuva. You look at Luton Town. In 9 years, their owners have got them from the conference, from non-league football to the Premiership in 9 years by implementing a plan, executing the plan, and having everyone together and on board. And then you look at us over 23 years, and we've gone from mid-table to 8th, 9th, basically back where we were, a couple of Champions League runs in there and one League Cup in 23 years. No plan. Absolutely zero plan. And I would hazard a guess, and again, so you might know this, are there any owners that have been at their club longer than Tottenham's?
Top flight? Don't think so. You'll get it in clubs lower down the leagues because the goals are different. There's survival there, and you'll get managers like owners. That's the thing. You will get owners who will back managers like Crew Alexandria used to have, Dario Gradi, and he would produce lots and lots of youth team players, come up, great talents, sell them on it, and keep the club afloat. So it was a beautiful relationship they'd have there. There's no way they were going to disrupt that because it was keeping the club afloat. So you'll get those kind of relationships lower down the divisions. But as soon as you get to Premier League, the money's so immense, the pressure's so immense. You're going to get lots of fallouts with managers if they're in danger of not keeping you in there. Pressure's on the owners then because they put themselves under that pressure. They spent big. They're looking to try and get returns on it all. And when it's not working out, perhaps they're going to be moving on each time. And then there's always somebody waiting because they'll see potential fallen giant or sleeping giant like Newcastle, Villa, clubs like that. Sunderland as well would be another one. Big fan base despite the lowly position for them. And you will have potential owners thinking, if I get them into the Premiership and get them as an established side, that's a real big earner. So
it's mad though, mate. Like, isn't it? Like, if you think about it, if we are, and I'm not saying officially we are, but if we are have the owners, the longest running owners in the Premier League, I'm looking at Man United have changed. Obviously, the Glazers came in and now the takeover. Liverpool have definitely changed. Man City definitely changed. Chelsea have changed 94 times. Aston Villa have changed. I'm just trying to think if there's anyone else, because Everton have changed a few times. The rest of the teams, everyone's been relegated other than I think the teams you mentioned. Arsenal have changed. So if you look at it, if we've got the longest running owners, what a sad indictment that after 23 years, this is what we are. And I don't mean the 8th place league finish, Cooper. I don't mean just finishing 8th. I mean the whole shebang of 23 years. We should be a well-oiled machine right now where everybody knows that's Tottenham. That's the pathway at Tottenham. That's the plan. That's the strategy. And we are anything but. And this is so, so true. This here. I remember we were warned. We were warned by the previous club they owned that these are not owners that care about the football club. And none of us listened. Well, I say none of us listened. Lots of people didn't listen. And they sat and they said for years, when that stadium's built, we're going to compete. We're going to be brilliant. And we're sitting here years and years and years later. And it actually turns out that we were better before we moved into the stadium, right? When we didn't apparently need this massive revenue to compete. And we were scouting at a lower level, so to speak. And sorry, last thing I'll say on this rant. When you actually look at what has been probably our best Premier League 11, look where they all came from. Like Rose, a kid from Leeds. Walker from Sheffield United. Yeah. Dembele came from Fulham. Wanyama, Southampton. Dele Alli was MK Dons. Came through the youth team. Son was Leverkusen. Do you know what I mean? It was like there was no big signings. There was no needing a 62,000-seater stadium revenue to compete. It's just incompetence of the highest order.
Yeah.
Long rant.
We literally just throw a little bit of money at it, really modest sums at things, and hope for the best. It's back in the long shot each time with us. It was miraculous what Pochettino did. I know people, will think negatively about him, but you look at the team that was put together. It was like a fluke occurrence. He just got the best out of what was there. Again, if we'd thrown some proper money at it and we had a bench worthwhile, perhaps we could have turned some of those near misses into some trophies, but we will never know now. And you just rinse and repeat, don't you? Mourinho comes in. We threw a lot of money at Mourinho for a rebuild, but look at what we actually bought. It wasn't really any good, was it? The likes of Joe Rodon. I mean, how much was he? 17 million or something? What for what? What was the point? It would have been better off bringing through an academy player and try and work on them. It would have got the same amount of chances, wouldn't they? We just, you said it, it's incompetence, isn't it? That's all it can be. When we keep bragging about how well we're doing financially and the strength of the club off the pitch, it doesn't matter if it doesn't fails to translate to what's happening on the pitch. Mm-hmm. Surely we are a football club. Nowadays, people actually start off, even get fans saying it. Football's a business. No. The business is the byproduct of what we're supposed to be doing, which is the football. The business is to support the football. It isn't the business first. The football is the most important thing, and it's been lost. And for me, and I know a lot of other fans thinking the same thing. Big up, Danny. Here's another one that probably on the same boat. We talk about disconnect with the club now. It's worse than it's ever been. I don't even watch matches anymore. I just don't watch them. That's never happened to me before. Last 3 years it started under Mourinho. We started getting some horrendous games I just did not want to watch. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do something more enjoyable. It's not worth giving up a couple of hours of your time to watch even if you do a naughty stream and pay nothing for it. It's still better to do something else. You're just bringing yourself down and wasting your time.
Let me ask then.
Yeah, go on.
Let me ask, Danny, before I we go to some questions, we've got so many questions, and apologies, I can't always get to all of them because there are a lot of questions. That's the problem of doing a question show. Danny, more than anything, I feel like, as I said many a time, we had this conversation yesterday that we need to lower our expectations, and then you get fans going, oh my God, you guys are terrible, you're so negative, you're lowering your expectations. But we are in a position where we're actually seeing so many teams around us do really well by scouting well. Yet we seem to have fans that think we could just make 3 or 4 top signings at 50, 60 million pounds that makes us compete again. Same with the manager, right? Same with managers. Now everyone, say no to Ange Postecoglou is trending. I'm embarrassed at the moment to be a Spurs fan, Danny, because of fans like that.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? And I'll be back in 1 second. I'll leave you two to it 1 sec.
Yeah, I think it's kind of what I've been seeing on Twitter all day yesterday. The amount of people that don't seem to understand what I like to call it. I say they don't understand football, or they don't really do their research in things, because people who are saying no to Ange, and they keep, all I see is that these are the current responses you get, Kuba, right? You get, oh, he's in a farmers league, or oh, we need to get Nagelsmann. First of all, in what world is someone like Nagelsmann going to come to manage this absolute shit show that is Tottenham Hotspur right now, right? He's every single manager is looking at, even Vincent Kompany was like, no, fuck that. I'm going to sign a new contract with Burnley. I ain't going there. When you've got championship managers or people who've just come up from the championship and they don't even want to touch Spurs, what does it tell you? It tells you this club is poisoned because managers speak to each other. They don't. People have spoken to Conte and Jose and be like, what's it like managing Tottenham? What's it like working with Daniel Levy? They're going to tell them the Levy 101 rule book and give him exactly what Levy's about. And they're going to look at it and be like, do I really want to risk? Do you think Arnie Slot's going to want to risk coming here to ruin his career and completely go, like, where he's on the up at the moment, and completely like just ruin it because of the way Levy doesn't want to give him the tools to do his job properly? No, it's like cutting out the manager's legs and try and work with what you got, sort of thing. It's like try and kick a ball now. It's just ridiculous. And I think people need to wake up and understand exactly where we are as a football club right now, because where we are as a football club is just nowhere near the level people think we're at. I mean, I was speaking to. Do you know what's funny, right, guys? What I find the most funny thing about Spurs fans is that, you know how, Savva, you've probably seen this a lot, right? How many Spurs fans right now are praising Brighton for the way you just said, the way they scout, the way they bring in their players, the way they bring in their managers, right? Do you know what the funny thing is? Ange Postecoglou was the number one name on Brighton's list to replace Graham Potter when he left the club, right?
Mhm.
If you actually do your research, the reason why Ange Postecoglou didn't leave was because he didn't want to leave Celtic mid-season, right?
Yep.
That's the only reason. And
so Brighton want him. So Brighton, who are this well-oiled machine, want him.
Brighton, yeah.
Right? And that's great. Spurs want him. Oh, my God, he's dreadful. What's he ever done? Let's be fair. Can he come
Spurs
in and
fans say,
worse?
oh, Brighton are amazing. Brighton have done so amazing how they run their club. And I agree, Sav. Can he do any worse? Well, look, this is how I see it, right? Either he comes in and overachieves and surprises everyone. He builds his whole fan base up, unites everyone, kind of like how the Redknapp did, and how Joel did, and how Poch did. Unites the whole fan base, right? And then or he's gonna prove Levy right again, basically, and Levy's just gonna have another bad footballing decision to go against his name. It's as simple as that. That's how I see it.
Just quickly, by the way, the breaking news, it doesn't affect us, but I can guarantee we're about to be dragged into this rumor. Tell me if I'm wrong. That Igor Tudor has just left his job as Marseille manager. So he's left today as the manager of Marseille.
God.
How long, guys, until Igor Tudor appears in the top 3 in the bookies odds to be the next Spurs manager? What do you
One day. One day.
And Kuva, this, I completely agree with this. Q7, big up, always a big supporter of the channel. Said, top 4 has turned Spurs fans into snobs. We forgot our place. We're a big club based on history. Fans need to be more realistic based on the times and the last 2 decades. Bang on, right? Bang on.
Absolutely. Look at this conversation I've had with so many people. Look at Sevilla in Spain. Why aren't we modelling ourselves on what they've done? You accept you're not what he once used to be. You're not top of the league. You're not winning the league title easily. Work on the stuff you can get. And they've won what was seven equivalent of UEFA Cups in the last 20 years.
Do you know what, Kuva? It's funny because they finished, was it 11th in the Serie A, in the La Liga this season, right? And it's like every other season, every other year, they're getting Champions League because they go and win a trophy, a European trophy. I would love that.
How many Sevilla fans today are complaining that they finished 11th in the league?
No, they got Champions League. Savva, they got
Who's
Champions
complaining?
League football next season, and someone was saying it. One of the commentators was saying it. If they don't do well in the Champions League, they'll get knocked out. They're going to the Europa League and they're going to win it. so they have fun at the same time.
Exactly, and
It's
this is the
amazing.
thing. I think when I saw, last night's game was, I mean, it was shithousery at its finest. But when they panned to the crowd, the emotion, the number of the number of beer bellies I saw on show last night, people with their tops off and blah, but all of those fans have just witnessed a great European night where their clubs lifted a trophy. We have fans that think finishing fourth trumps scenes like we saw last night. Now, I don't know about you guys, but never have Spurs finished fourth. Sorry, we have. Never when we finished fourth have I jumped around my living room and gone, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. All right, we finished fourth. How do we kick on? These fans are losing their minds. These fans are probably still drinking right now, wherever that final was taking place.
Actually, to be fair, there was one time when we first got into the Champions League on the Red Nap. That was a big celebration for me.
Oh yeah,
for sure. But I
agree
mean,
with
once
that.
you start doing it regularly, it stops becoming a, oh my God, this is brilliant. It becomes a, all right, we're Champions League. What are we going to do? And look, I want to get some questions. There's so many questions. I won't be able to.
There was a really quick one for you on this subject.
Go on.
When we beat Chelsea in the last League Cup final, and then when we beat Leicester in the League Cup final before that, and then when we beat Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup final before that, what were our finishing league positions?
Say that again. Say that again.
What was our league position in each of the times we won our last 3 trophies?
Right. So let's go back in order. God, it's 15 years ago. 2008. I think we finished 8th.
Yeah, 8th or 7th.
No, I can stop you straight away. It doesn't matter, does it? All you remember is the trophy.
No,
that's
yeah,
the
true.
point.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You sneaky little cougar, you. I see what you've done there. Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true. By the way, Strasbourg, Steve, I'm not suggesting Igor Tudor should come to Spurs. It just feels like the moment a manager leaves their job, everyone goes, oh, Spurs need a manager. Let's get to some questions. There are loads. I don't have time to read them all out. Phil P, stop playing with my emotions. 1 minute you like me, the next minute you don't. I don't know where I stand with you. If you stop this behaviour now, I'll still meet you next week for a Nando's.
Oh, come on, Sav. Do a 24-hour question show. Back-to-back 24-hour streams.
I'm basically doing that tomorrow, Kuva. I don't know if you've seen. I'm basically doing that tomorrow. It's come at the worst time as well. I'm trying to drop a stone in 20 days. And I asked my PT what to do. And this is completely irrelevant for anyone who cares. Literally, for a massive detox, I'm going 2 eggs in the morning scrambled, a banana at about 11 o'clock, chicken and veg for lunch, chicken and veg for dinner, 6 pints of water a day. And I am hungry, but I've lost 5 pounds this week. So it's all good. Anyway, I don't know what that's got to do with anything. I'm just proud of myself. Let's go to some questions. There's so many. So we'll have to do quick fires. Next Level English. I love this account. I said, how positive would you be about Thomas Frank, Nagelsmann or De Zerbi becoming our manager? Guys,
I'd love them.
I'm pretty sure, would we all agree we'd take any one of them?
Yeah, 100%. But any one of them is not going to leave their current clubs. Why are they going to leave their current clubs to come to this absolute mess? I've just said it to Kuva. Everyone knows the situation at Spurs right now, and they know how hard it is to work with Daniel Levy, because it's like how many reporters have been saying that it feels like a manager's graveyard at the moment. So what we need is someone who's got the ambition to believe in himself and feel that it doesn't matter how the club's run. I feel that I can change it, and that's what Ange is. Ange is exactly that, because he's never had a chance in Europe's top leagues. So we need someone exactly like that who's going to come in, play the right style of football, get the fans united. Because look, Nagelsmann is not coming to Spurs. People keep thinking Nagelsmann's free, but he's not free. He's on garden leave right now, right? He's being paid by Bayern Munich still. He's still on their books. To get him out, it will cost money to get him out. And the second thing as well, he wants a lot of things. He wanted what Conte wanted. He wanted control of transfers. He wants He wants a sporting director who's going to come in with him, for him. And Spurs are not going to hire a sporting director just for a manager. They're going to hire a sporting director for them, for their philosophy, and then they bring in a manager to suit what they want, not what the manager wants. What people don't understand this. It's actually so. It makes you laugh, Sav and Kuva, that fans still don't understand the concept of how this football club is run and who is running the football club. Right? We all know exactly how it's run, and they think, and then they look at De Zerbi, what he's just done. He's just gotten Brighton into Europe for the very first time, and you look at Thomas Frank, the great job he's been doing at Brentford, and you look at them and you think, are they actually going to come when those clubs in particular are both such well-run clubs, and they're going to come to this shit show? Come on, man, be serious.
Well, Kuva, I'll ask you, and I'll remind you of what Danny clearly didn't take on board, that this was a quick fire round. There's a lot of questions, but Kuva, any chance of? I can't see Frank leaving his job. De Zerbi would be absolutely stupid to leave his job.
Out of the three, I think Frank would be the most likely, because De Zerbi, no way, it's exciting times at Brighton. He'd want to see that through to a European campaign. Nagelsmann, I think he wants to bring too much with him. Levy isn't going to buy into that. No. Frank, I think maybe he might look at, Brentford. How far are they really going to go now? He might be thinking, cash in while I've got good stock, take a big name job like Spurs, and then basically, get fired in 5-6 months, huge payoff, lovely jubbly, go and lie on the beach.
Yeah, absolutely. Could do. Let's have a look. The next question is David has said, do you believe Mr. Levy will rebuild this team when he gets the money for Kane? Same situation with Bale, as 8 players bought and only Eriksen was fantastic. Just before we just quickly go through this and hopefully in about 30 seconds, can I just say, I feel like this is a very different era. I feel like when Spurs sold Gareth Bale for 90 million was a hell of a lot of money, and we should have really been able to go and get 3 or 4 players of top quality for that money. Whereas now, I think if you look at, if Kane goes for 90 million, hypothetically, 90 million these days, unless you've got tremendous scouts, doesn't get you too much, does it, Danny?
Not really. No, it doesn't. Not in this day and age. And I don't think the club would reinvest the money properly. That's the thing. That's the problem. I don't think Kane's going to leave this summer anyway. I think Levy's going to hold him hostage.
Yeah, I think you might be right, Kuva.
Sorry, I got distracted. Oh, the sign using Kane money to rebuild.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not going to be enough, is it? We need so much done to this team. We're talking about.
Go on, Squidder. Sorry, go on.
We're talking 3, 4, 5 years to try and fix what's the mess we're in.
I agree,
because the mess has been built over that long as well.
Do you know what? As well, Sav? I was listening to you and Sean's and Henry's show yesterday, right? And you're talking about the Harry Kane thing. And actually, I wanted to come in just to say my point on this. I don't believe they will sell Harry Kane, right? Purely because if you look at the problems we've got right now, we have got so much more fundamental issues at this club. And I think he's probably looking at it and thinking the value to have Harry Kane for one more season outweighs selling him for 100 million right now, because we're going to have to spend 100 million to completely reshape that defense at least, right? We need a new goalkeeper, 2 to 3 new centre backs, and potentially another new wing back, right? Imagine if you sell Harry Kane now and you still have to do that this season. It's just going to be a mess.
The only thing I've ever said about the whole Kane piece is it's Daniel Levy's desire to either make 90 to 100 million now or let our best player for the last decade go on a free. Look, none of us know the answer to this question. None of us know. As I've said before, I don't think Kane's got the stomach to put in a transfer request. I don't think he's got the ambition to win things. So this could be a moot point. You're
saying about the Real Madrid thing, right? And I was agreeing with Sean yesterday, because I've always believed, right, that as much as it is Real Madrid, look, we don't know, right? He could actually look at it and sit down with his family if an offer came in from Real Madrid, and he might think, actually, do you know what? I want to go there, right? We don't know, but from what I believe right now, I feel that staying in the Premier League, I think he feels staying here one more year gets him closer to that Premier League record, which I think he does really want. I do believe he really wants that, right? Which you can question his ambition for all you want if that's what he really wants. But then he might look at it and think, well, next summer, I can pick whoever I want to go to. And I'm sure Harry Kane is not going to be short of suitors. And as much as people say, oh, Man United are going to buy a striker, and Man City have Haaland, Liverpool have this player. But let's be honest, right? If Harry Kane's a free agent, I'm sure every single club is going to try and get Harry Kane, regardless of who they've got.
Sure. Listen, as we said yesterday, it's always a hypothetical, right? In my mind, if this year Real Madrid came calling and Harry Kane turned it down, for me, that is the ultimate lack of ambition. I can't change the way I feel about that.
Yeah, of course.
You are a footballer for a 15-year period if you're lucky, right? And when you're as good as Harry Kane, you should be in teams like Real Madrid, like Man U, like Man City, winning titles. And if you've not got that appetite to go,
but do you think he might see it as that he just doesn't want to leave this country? Because I know something about Harry Kane in terms of what his dad was saying to one of our friends, and he loves England. He's an England man. He's Mr. England, Mr. Tottenham, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure he wants to take his family away from England and uproot them. And I think from what I've told about Harry Kane, his family is the most important thing to him, more than anything, right? And I think that he sees it as that he doesn't need to go to another country or to a Real Madrid for that matter just to try and still win trophies. And he still has a chance to do that in this country because next summer he can go wherever he wants and he can still beat Shearer's record. And also, if you go back a couple of weeks after one of the matches we played, and I can't remember who it was, but they were talking to him about Alan Shearer's record, and he's like, I want to try and beat it. And he's now talking that he's close to it now and that he wants to beat it. So that already tells me that he's kind of thinking that I'm going to stay in this country regardless of the offers I get abroad.
That's all well and good. But top players don't turn down Real Madrid. If they do, I won't ever change my opinion on this. If you turn down Real Madrid, do you know what? If you turn down Real Madrid, but you've won multiple league titles, Champions Leagues elsewhere,
I get it.
But if you turn down Real Madrid and your biggest achievement is a personal accolade and you've never won a trophy, and you're witnessing, this is the thing. I put out a post last night. The list of footballers that have left this club in the last 30 years to go and win things is staggering.
Of course,
absolutely staggering.
Sam, even this is how funny Spurs are. We buy Brian Hill. We buy Brian Hill for Lamela at 25 million. We then loan Brian Hill back, and then they both go and win a trophy last night.
Mate, absolutely.
And Brian Hill's still contracted to Spurs.
Absolutely,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's just awesome, isn't it? They get both players the cash and see them win things. Every single thing against us.
Good business.
But
good business.
Just to
Levy.
add one more
good
thing
business.
on the Harry Kane thing, I personally think that he has so much belief in himself that he can achieve what he wants to achieve in this country, in England. And I think maybe that as much as I get what you're saying about Real Madrid, it's like they are the biggest team on the planet, right? There's no question about that. But
then my flip to that is this. If that's what he wants and he wants to run down his contract at Spurs, it's then gross incompetence yet again from Mr. Levy
100%
to not sell him and make as much money as you can with 1 year to go.
Yeah.
But the flip side of this, Kuva, and I don't want to go too deep into a Kane conversation because I've got a feeling this is going to rumble on for the next 60, 70 days until the season starts. For me, the worst thing is if Kane turns around and says, I'm giving you 1 more year, I don't want... Listen, I love Kane. Kane's been the best thing that's happened to this club for however long. But I don't want to start a new era with a new director of football, new manager that will be revolved around Harry Kane when we know he's leaving next summer and then we've got to completely rip it up and change it again with different types of forward. I would rather just start afresh and we say, Harry, we love you. Thank you so much. Go and win. Go and win wherever you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would be. It's that point, isn't it? We know the rebuild's got to happen. We've been talking about it for ages. Let's face it, Pochettino was talking about it. How long ago is that now already?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. We
7
just
years
haven't
ago.
done it. So so the thing is with Kane, yeah, he would be part of a rebuild if we're going to do it, because let's face it, he's still going to fetch quite a few banknotes, isn't he?
Of course.
So we could do it. Will we do it? No, of course not. My personal feeling with Kane, I think he's desperate to bring the rest of the team up to his level. I think I'm with Danny. I think he really wants to stay in the area if he can. I do believe very strongly that he values his family life, first and foremost. He does seem very relaxed at home with his kids and family, loving it all. However, I keep getting this feeling that if our domestic season finished in, say, anywhere between November and January, and Harry Kane's just finished that season, he's looking out the window one morning, it's pissing down with rain, freezing cold. He's got a couple of kids going, can we go to the park? He's looking out the window and thinking, you know what? Spain wouldn't be so bad about now, would it?
Yeah. Yeah.
If that happened, might be different. But we finish in the summer, so it's all nice,
Right. Let's get to some quick fire questions. And by the way, David, give me a break, man. Listen, there's over 300 people in here. Everyone's asking questions. Just give me a break.
And this is a second question, so this is putting pressure on that.
Yeah. This is the second time you've asked this. Just think most YouTubers only read out super chats. So come on, give me a break here. Talking of super chats, here is Rooksy Pop. Big up, mate. And a great supporter of the channel has said, remember last summer, everyone was buzzing because Spurs got top 4 and Arsenal were finished because they got 5th, according to some Spurs fans, not you. Guys, I'm not going to go to you for this, but all I'm going to say on this before we go to some questions is I have no doubt, Rooksy Pop, the same thing will happen this year. We'll sign a few players. Everyone will go well over the top again. Everyone will say, oh, my God, top 4, we're going to... And when we don't...
Best transfer window in our memory.
Exactly. But Rooksy Pop, thank you so much for the super chat. Always appreciated, my friend, and I hope you are well. Ariel has said, have you seen the Chuck I never know how to pronounce this guy's name. Chukwuemeka, I think it is. Rumours in a potential swap deal involving Lo Celso and a bit of cash. So Chukwuemeka is at Chelsea.
Yeah.
I can't see Poch going back for Lo Celso. I don't know, but give me Chukwuemeka over Lo Celso all day. He looks a very talented, powerful midfielder for me. I'd take him. You guys?
Yeah, definitely. I completely
agree. Yeah, it's when you got that sort of there's raw talent is there, and then you got the physique to go with it. There's the potential's unlimited, isn't it? You could be talking about another sort of Yaya Toure type there.
Yeah, he's definitely got something about him, that lad.
Yeah,
next question.
He looks like a good youngster.
Oh, there's another super chat. Sorry, some of our fan base is like Ty from AFT deluded. AUs are absolutely spot on. You know what? As I said, somebody messaged me earlier on my YouTube saying, Savva, you're very negative. It's very draining. And the first question I ask back to these people is, tell me some positive subjects. We'll discuss them. Right? Give me some positivity. We'll discuss them. If Spurs sign a manager and director of football tomorrow, that's a positive for me. We then have that conversation. Right, where do we go from here? Where do we build? At the moment, it's not. And Ty is an absolute... This guy, I hope he sees this. Clip it, send it to him. This guy is a massive knob. Like, he is a grown man, right? He is. He's a grown man that Arsenal are amazing. We're the best. We're this. We're that. We're winning leagues. We're doing this. Spurs are rubbish. This. And it's like, dude, you're like 50 or something. Sort yourself out.
You know what else is? You say, it gets told it's tiring that always being so negative. You know what else is really tiring is when people constantly say, change the manager and it's going to be okay.
Listen, I'll be honest. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I wanted Conte changed, but for a manager that's going to be here for a while. Yeah. Because you know my opinion, guys. I never thought Conte was here for the long term. Footy forever. Just really, really quickly, guys. Has said.
By the way, they said it's a different player they were talking about. People been putting it in the chat. It was an actual. It's a Villarreal winger called what's his name? Samuel something, a Nigerian winger. Never heard of him.
Apologies. I would probably have seen him playing
or something.
passing. Apologies. Now that makes sense with the Villarreal link. I don't know enough about him. I don't know if you two do to have
I think we'll go for him. We're desperate for central defenders, so a winger sounds about right.
Maybe he wants to play centre half, Kuva, this season.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he wants to play centre half. Where were we? Footy Forever 1, big up. I said big up Savva and Kuva, and Danny will add into that. Ali Gold reporting.
Don't.
Don't forget these questions. Some of them were for ages ago.
Don't fall for it. Look at the name closely.
I've got it. Got it. See, I like to trust in people, Cooper, and I like to just read. What did they get me with earlier? What was it? Suck on my dick, wasn't it? Yeah, like ridiculous. Like it's so pathetic, but it's funny. Savva and Kuva and Danny, if you could take one player from each of the 3 relegated teams, who would they be? Simple for me. I would go with would I go with Bella Kotchap or Lavia from Southampton? Kotchap. Both. James Maddison and Leeds. Jack Harrison, just because I don't rate many of them. I know we don't need a winger, but I don't rate any of their centre backs. I don't want any of them. Guys?
Yeah,
Meslier from Leeds, Lavia from Southampton, and it's got to be Maddison, hasn't it? Oh, if it's not Maddison, then Castagna from Leicester.
Good shout. Yeah, but we don't buy what we need. We don't buy defenders, do we? So.
Yeah, I'd go for similar. Bella Kotchap, I'd go for Maddison, and I'd probably go for, if it's not Jack Harrison, maybe Sinistera.
Yeah. He's an interesting player. I'll tell you a player I don't mind.
Tyler
Adams.
That's the one. Notto from Leeds. He was quite a good player at the beginning of the season.
What do you think of Tyler Adams? I quite like him. I don't mind him.
Tyler Adams. Yeah, I like Tyler Adams.
I feel like he's got
the youngster as well. Summerfield, wasn't it?
Oh, Crescencio Summerfield.
Yeah,
great name,
he's good as well. He's a good youngster.
Strasbourg, Steve knows I like legs. Steve, you know I like legs. Tyler Adams, absolutely. I think Tyler Adams will give that kind of engine. I'm guys, just quickly going off pace. I'm so adamant that what I want to see from whatever manager comes in, I want to see engines. I want to see people that can run and have some enthusiasm to get around the pitch. I watched Arsenal versus Wolves yesterday. They were doing the half-hour games from every game at the end of the season. And what I noticed about the way Arsenal played is they swarm over teams. All of them, just everywhere, all over the pitch. They're swarming, they're overlapping, they're overloading. And I miss those days. I really do. Thanks very much, Steve. Really appreciated. Let me know, Steve, if you want to come on the transfer show later. You're more than welcome. Shemtana said, why not get the ex-Bayern director of football and then go back to Nagelsmann? I would love that. I think we all would, right? We'll be happy with that.
Yeah, definitely.
I suppose the argument there would be it didn't work the first time round.
What do you mean?
Well, if it's going to be an ex-Bayern director of football and Nagelsmann.
Right, yeah. I see what you mean.
But then again, not good enough for Bayern is probably plenty good enough for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bayern, there's something going on there because they sacked Khan. They sacked, I don't know, it just doesn't seem right there at the moment.
Yeah.
It's got to be Champions League they've got their eye on, isn't it? And if people aren't doing that, the same as PSG. They've done domestic stuff. They need that European success.
Yeah, absolutely. Robin Ater said, TalkSport said Thomas Frank should wait for a bigger job than Spurs. I mean, I guess the difficulty is, whilst we're not the biggest club, does he get bigger than Spurs? I'm not sure he does.
I mean, if you look at realistically, right, in terms of where we are as a football club, not saying where our league finishes, but I know we're way underperforming from where we could be performing at. But apart from Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle, is he going to go to any of those clubs? I can't see it. So I think out of the lot, Tottenham's probably the biggest that he could probably get realistically right now. But the question is, does he want to leave Brentford to come to this shit show. So I don't know. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
we are a very big job, but
Yeah.
we're one of the most difficult. That's the real question. He should probably wait for an easier big job.
That's true.
I think that's it, guys, isn't it? So I think when you come to Tottenham, the amount of work that needs to be done, as opposed to going to one of our rivals, if I use that loosely, right?
So it's only Chelsea that are in the bigger sort of turmoil at the moment. But
Do you know what though, Coover? I don't think they are in bigger turmoil. I think they've got a lot of good players, but just didn't have a manager there to put them into place. Now you look that they're in talks with Ugarte. And Kunku's joining in 4 weeks. They'll get a top keeper. They'll get a top midfielder. They'll get a top striker. We know what Poch can do with young players. I mean, let's be fair. If it's a toss-up between Spurs and Chelsea, Cooper, where are you going to manage, right?
Absolutely. Who's going to be playing better stuff next season? Already, I'll put my money on Chelsea.
Oh, yeah. I put my mortgage on them finishing above us next year and playing much better football. Next question. There are so many. Apologies if I don't get through to all of them, because I do want to end the show in 10 minutes. Philly 2109, big up Phil P. Phil President. This one, one of the Phil Army, has said, with Sir Alex on the board of directors at United, do you think Redknapp could do the same at Spurs? Yep, but I don't think Levy would allow it. But I would. No. Guys, would you?
Not for me. Redknapp's the man you want on the training pitch, just inspiring the players to play some good football.
Fair enough.
You want someone like a Glenn Hoddle at board level or someone like that.
Do you think Glenn Hoddle's fragile heart should be anywhere near working with Daniel Levy? You're kidding me?
Like, probably not good for his health. Definitely not.
His wife would say, Glenn. No, Glenn, don't do it.
Blame Levy for that.
Yeah. Hakuna Matata, great name, has said, who are the top 3 most overrated players in your squad, in your opinion? Cooper?
Højbjerg. Dyer.
Yeah.
And
is he rated, though? Is he rated?
Yeah, but still a lot of fans rate Dyer.
Yeah, they do. I would have said the exact same 3 players. I would have said the exact same 3.
I'm going to go with Kulusevski, Højbjerg, and Perisic. I think, I'm not even going to get into a debate on that.
Yeah.
It's such a shame we've got this Perisic, not Perisic from 5 years ago.
Could say Romero as well, couldn't you?
I did want to say that, but I get in trouble for talking about Romero. I really do.
I don't think Romero's overrated. Oh, actually, to some of the Spurs fans, they think he's world class. He's not a world class player. He's a good player who's not consistent enough at the moment, especially this season. But he's not a world class player. So you could say Romero's overrated by Spurs fans.
I think we overrate a lot of our players. We always have done. We always will do. Steve, big up for the super chat. Much love, mate. For sure, Sav, I'd love to come on the transfer show. Sure, mate. Listen, best way to do this. When I start the show, best way to do this. Are you on Instagram, Steve? If you are, find me on Instagram. Send me a direct message and slide into my DMs, and I'll slide you back with a link. But thank you very much.
If we're going to go really controversial, say Harry Kane.
Harry Kane.
He's treated like he's the greatest of all time, but anybody that ever saw him and anybody that knows the history of the club, he's no Jimmy Greaves. We're talking the difference between great and genius.
Yeah, that's true. I see people saying he's the best player that's ever played for the club. I don't think so, but top goal scorer for the club, great finisher for sure.
He's definitely a top goal scorer for the club, which is obviously an unbelievable feat. But if you look at Jimmy Greaves' career, if people actually watch Jimmy Greaves, they'd understand the guy was a freak of nature. I think he's a centurion type of player. Once every 100 years, you'll see someone like that. He's for me, Jimmy Greaves was up there with the Messis and Ronaldos of how good he was. He was just, if people watched him in his day, like when my dad used to watch him and stuff like that, he say he was like the Messi of that era. He was just phenomenal, and on those football pitches as well, with those footballs, the way he used to dribble past players like they weren't even there. He used to score like it was just a playground. It was just.
I think
nothing.
that's the problem. When I always see these, people try to compare players from different eras, which I think is really, really difficult to do.
Of course.
And one of the things you always hear is, well, yeah, but the players now they're much they're physically stronger, they're fitter. But if those players from the 60s and 70s and 80s were playing in this era now, they would also be fitter and stronger, and they wouldn't be going out to the pub after training and all that kind of stuff.
The only way I think you can really do it when it's talking about different eras, especially if it's an era that you didn't experience yourself, you look at and listen to what other players that played alongside them and against them say.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
It's true, and you listen to like you said, Kuva. You listen to the people who've been around, played in those eras, who are still around now, and they've watched Harry Kane or watched the players of today, and then you can see how they see the players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Just big up to a user. Thank you very much for the super chat. I said Perisic hung his legs up at Inter before joining us. It does look like that. I know he's got some assists, but his all-round game, and he looks poor and he looks really leggy, and it does look like someone that's come to a club where it's just like a last payday. Reports yesterday that they want him back at Inter. See you later, mate.
I mean, look, do you know what's quite surprising, right, for Perisic? He's got 11, 12, 13 assists for this season, which is actually insane if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those would be from corners and free kicks and stuff.
Yeah,
but for me, having a good cross isn't enough when you are fundamental in that formation. That left side, he should be dominating.
Yeah,
you watch top clubs play with the wing backs. Those wing backs do everything in the game. They're involved the whole time. But Perisic, for me, I don't know.
Do you not see him though as like a squad left winger? Because I don't see him as a wing back because he ain't got the legs to be a wing back in the Premier League. But as a winger who stays upfield, do you not think he could do a job as a substitute?
I just think if we're going to continue, if we're going to build,
you'd rather get him out
a new manager. Yeah, I don't want 34-year-olds in the conversation. If I'm truly honest, like everyone wanted the Feyenoord manager, and for example, his team had an average age of 23. Yeah. That's mental. You want that. You can build. You can grow. They've got capacity to learn and develop.
We had that same average age under Pochettino at one point.
Yeah, we're the youngest squad in the league for 3 years in a row,
and that's what I think you need now. Energy, legs. I keep saying it. Legs. Paddy said, in a different topic, the club are now looking at the possibility of a statue with the Bill Nick gates being put up. It will be discussed with the FAB when it's formed. Damn right.
Yeah.
Why are these things not there already? Why is there not a Jimmy Greaves statue? Why, you know what I mean? Why is there not statues of Danny Blanchflower, Steve Perryman, Glenn Hoddle? What's going on?
I remember somebody a while back, I forgot who it was, they're making the point about it's an argument with the council. We can't have this, why we don't have the statues. I just said, with Spurs, we're worth billions. Why not just give the council a bit of money for it so they can build on some other projects, and they'll say, all right, fair enough, have a few statues. Just literally, that's talking about brown envelopes. That's a proper brown envelope. That's a good kind.
Jesus. Just quickly, Craig Fenner has said Greavesy smoked 20 a day as well. Yeah. different era, right? Look, I what the footage I've seen of Jimmy Greaves, obviously never saw him live, is just sensational. He looked like Messi when he was running with a football. And on as you said, Danny, on those pitches, just unbelievable.
My dad's seen Greaves and Harry Kane play, and still to this day, he says there was no one he's ever. In terms of technical genius, he said Glenn Hoddle is up there. Like, he's never seen someone like that. If played for England, an English player with that technical ability is like Glenn Hoddle, right? But in terms of all-round player, like someone like Greaves, between Greaves and Kane, he says Kane's a phenomenal footballer, but Greaves was just. He was something else. He was different. He was just.
All of my elders in my family on the Tottenham side all say the same thing. They all say, listen, Kane's great, but if we're going to talk about the best ever, we're talking about Greaves and Hoddle.
Yeah. My dad said the same thing.
And I suppose Gazza's got to be in that conversation, right? I mean, he was
definitely, yeah.
John White, Dave Mackay,
John White.
Yeah, there's a few. I think Kane's right up there, and what he's done for this club has been
for sure
phenomenal. But
for sure,
like Danny's dad, my dad used to say about Jimmy Greaves was, all you have to do is get the ball to make contact with his foot, and he will just scamper through the entire opposition and put it in.
Like they weren't even there. Yeah. And it's insane how good Greaves was.
Just quickly, hater of the Glaziers. I love that name. United now in talks with Højlund of Atalanta.
Savva, can I just add one point? Actually, sorry.
Sure, go.
Before you go on, people forget, right? If you actually look at the goal scoring record in English football, Greaves has got a lot more goals than what he's scored for Tottenham. He's got like 400 or 500 goals or something like that. It's insane the amount of goals. Because you've got to remember, he played for Chelsea as well. As a 17-year-old, on his debut, he scored a hat-trick for Chelsea, right? Yeah. This just shows you the level of how good this player was.
Do you know who else had a phenomenal goal-scoring record that no one ever talks about?
Brian Clough.
How did you know I was going to say that, Cooper? Yeah, Brian Clough's goal-scoring record is absolutely... I'm going to bring it up. It's absolutely disgusting. In a good
career cut short by injury. Yeah, but he was absolutely lethal. Yeah.
Brian Clough. Yeah, I do a show on a Tuesday with fans from other clubs called the Football Throwdown, and we've got a Forest fan called Dave, and he does a brilliant Cloughy impression and talks about Brian Clough all the time. So where are we?
Let's have a look. My favourite manager.
Here we go. So in his career, he played 296 games and scored 267 goals.
That's insane. That's insane record.
And I'm just trying to find his England.
And to put that in context, they didn't have all the luxuries that forward players have had in this recent era.
No,
where you got penalised for offside no matter what. It was just a straight decision. There was no.
How ridiculous is that?
That's
290 odd games, 260 odd goals. That is phenomenal from Cloughy. Listen, we are going to end in a couple of minutes. I did see a super chat. Listen, apologies. We will not be doing this show tomorrow. Funnily enough, I'm doing the 24-hour at 12. I'm not starting the 24-hour with a 2-hour before because that would be ridiculous. I know, I'm so bad, Cooper. I'm so bad. This is like last time, Cooper, when you were with me for about 19 hours of it and then went and had a nap. I was so disappointed in you. So disappointed.
I'm 60, don't forget, you know.
Not me. I'm 21, mate, so it's all good. Mark Cousins, big up, Mark. Hope you're well. I'm sure he'll be there tomorrow supporting and joining in. I said, Hoddle was the best I've seen. Didn't see Greaves. Some of the stories I hear, even from when Hoddle was managing and joining in with training, is that the players were just in awe of this guy who was in his mid-40s, the best player on the training ground, like just every pass, hit his target. And I heard a story once. I don't know how true this is, but I heard a story when I was coaching a long time ago that Hoddle, when he was at Chelsea, did the crossbar challenge with the Chelsea squad, and he said, "Right, you're all going to take 20 shots at the bar. We'll see how many out of the 20 you get." And apparently, Hoddle got 19 out of 20.
That's insane.
Like just pure accuracy. And that's why I think I'm harsh now. When people go to me, "Oh my God, this player's world class," and I'm like, nah. I'm not, sorry.
No, exactly. They haven't seen world class, Sav. They haven't seen world class.
It was Mickey Hazard talking about Hoddle doing a crossfield pass late in the game, bit of moisture on the grass, so the ball would skid anyway. And Hoddle sliced the ball, just enough slice on it to put enough backspin on the pass so it curled beautifully into his path and then stopped dead. It was like he didn't have to change his run or anything. It was just that unbelievable.
He was the pass perfectionist. I haven't seen a player at Spurs who can pass the ball better than him.
This is why I rate Paul Scholes, because you hear the same things about him in training.
Yeah.
Just quickly, we are going to wrap up the show there. Alan Sibley, I do not believe you are working for 24 hours straight. No excuses, Mr. Alan
Come on,
Sibley.
10-inch. Yeah,
I'm not having it. Listen, on a serious note, listen, thank you to everyone who's joined in the shows. Hopefully everyone's liking the morning rants. Just a chance to talk about what's ever happened in Spurs, get the questions in. Please like, please subscribe. Please also subscribe to Tottenham on Tour. Please subscribe to me. I'm chasing down 6K. We're slowly edging our way there. Please join me at 4 o'clock for the transfer update. And it's not a Spurs transfer update. It's just a general transfer update. And join me tomorrow. I'm sure these two characters will make an appearance at some point for however many hours for the 24-hour live stream. The Just Giving link will be in the chat. I feel like I need to say that as a disclaimer now. But if for anyone who's not sure, your super chats, if you put them in tomorrow, do go to the British Heart Foundation. If you go to the Just Giving page, you can see that I insert the money after the show. There is a lump sum. You will see me putting that money in. That is the money that is made from YouTube. I've posted the receipts so everyone can see. Sorry, I'm labouring this point, but I don't want anyone to think.
It's good you do, Sav. Good you do.
Good
you do.
Yeah,
Everybody,
absolutely. I'll add to that as well.
Yeah.
One thing I've always loved about Savva's shows when it says it's for charity, it's there, it's official. You can see for yourself it's going to the right place. If anything, don't worry about super chats. Go do the straight donation because that means YouTube won't take a cut out of it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all there for you. It's all there for you. Whatever you want to do. A user said, remember Diamond Light single Hoddle and Waddle? Yes, I do. And these two. I mean, oh God.
Yeah,
just quickly, how good was Chris Waddle? I know we're ending the show, but how good was Waddle?
Electric is the word I would use to describe him. Electric.
Yeah.
My memories of Chris Waddle, even because I caught the end of his Spurs career, but even when I saw him at Marseille, and even Sheffield Wednesday, his ability to drop that shoulder and go was sublime, and you don't see wingers do that now. You don't
kid
see
from the
that.
Sausage Factory made good, didn't he?
Oh, great hairdos as well, Kuva. They had fantastic. They rivaled Danny the Bun for man dudes, didn't they?
Mind you, Sausage Factory's got a whole new meaning nowadays. I would have thought.
Well, Waddle was one of my dad's favourite players, I think. He used to talk about him so much.
On that note, we're all going to leave it there. Now, hopefully, I can stop getting messages from people that telling me that I need to update my intro because 3 teams have been relegated and 3 teams have joined. Just so you know, that doesn't happen overnight. I have to get a guy to do that and animate it. It's all done now. Luton are in there. Sheffield United are in there. And Burnley are in there. Leeds, Leicester and Southampton have all dropped out. Much love, everyone. Thank you to Kuva. Please go and subscribe to the Free Spurs Boys. Please go and subscribe to Tottenham on Tour. See you at 4 o'clock and then see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. for a marathon stream full of prizes and nonsense. See you later, everyone. Here's a video of someone winning something.
And here comes Hurst. He's got some people are on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is.